Welcome and thanks for joining me. I'm just heading from Toronto to Niagara Falls, and we'll end up at the Winter Festival of Lights, which just opened. There's no snow on the ground or anything like that, but it is still a beautiful sight. So if you have the time to stick around, it should be not too much longer than an hour. But thanks for coming in and hanging out. I tried to stream earlier today, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with my other phone trying to get it to have a nice smooth stream lately. So I thought I'd switch. So using an iPhone 11, I should upgrade soon. So we'll see. I might have a little bit of trouble here. I don't have glasses with me right now. I should have brought some and I didn't, so I might have a little bit of more trouble reading the chat than I would like. Do this. I see Patrick there. I see my dear friend Pete, of course. I might have a real hard time reading the chat. I don't mean to miss anybody, but I literally, yeah, I don't actually require glasses for driving. Oh, DeFam Adventures, good to see you. Um, but my vision is not what it once was, and I can see my chat's changed to handles. We all love that. But the text only comes up at a certain size. So forgive me if I struggle. How many miles? I would guess, I don't remember the conversion, but I'm guessing it's about 60 miles from where I am right this second to the edge of Niagara. It's about 100 kilometers, a little bit more, because of course I'm in Canada, leaving Toronto, going to Niagara Falls right now. So it should take just over an hour. I think an hour from now we'll be at going through the Winter Festival of Lights. That'll be quick. It'll only be like 5 minutes, right, from one end to the other. When you're driving, it doesn't seem like much, but when you're walking, there's plenty to see. You could spend a good couple of hours there, I think. But it is spectacular. One of the most elaborate in the world, as far as I understand. I filmed it many times. I had a little bit of accidental luck once because I did a stream for the Winter Festival of Lights, and it was so cold that day that the phone shut off, because that's one thing we got to think about with these outdoor streams, right? It's too much heat, too much cold, and it ended up cutting off after about 8 minutes, but the video got thousands of views after, which is like completely accidental and just luck. But I try to film it at least once every year. I did a little preview because they had some of the lights on a couple weeks ago. But the official start was Saturday. And then I'll try to get out again when the snow has fallen, when it is in all its glory and all that. Yeah, now that we've switched to handles, I'm just having the hardest time reading. I'm sure everybody understands, and I know everybody here wouldn't want me going overboard trying to focus on names in the chat. I do appreciate everyone being here. I'll be able to look back after and see everybody that had come in. One of the things not everybody knows, some of these chat bots, like Nightbot and especially Streamlabs that I really like, they keep either statistics or logs from your chat. So you can go back after and see, everything everybody had said while they were there and stuff like that. But I do appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm assuming then that this is a smoother stream than with the other phone earlier today. Probably should have thought to clean the windshield before I was going, but I just drove from Niagara Falls to Toronto. This is my second run here today. And then thank you, Scratch and PPA. I'm going to have to adjust some settings, see if there's a way that I can adjust something on the other phone to make the streams better. I got this other phone called a Solana Seeker. It's very crypto-based, let's say, and it's just an Android phone. But I wanted to use that for these streams and everything, and it just hasn't been as silky smooth as I wish it would. Trying to get this thing level, I'm having the hardest time, so forget my camera movements there. I'm really happy with some of these mounts that I use for the car. So I got one stuck to the window, and the window's up in the top top left of me, if you can imagine, that's filming. So it's up at the top of the window, not down at the bottom on the dash like most people would have. I'm driving a vehicle that's got a really large front window, so it allows for that. But these mounts are incredible, and they're just magnetic ones. They're not expensive or anything, but you put that ring on the back of your phone case or whatever, and they just stick everywhere, and you just like take them right off. I love it. I got 3 of them in this vehicle, but I'm using those all the time now. Ace Flow 1, Andy, good to see you. On some of the apps, you can change the size of the text in the chat, but I don't think I could do it the way I'm looking at this right now. I just came this way. I just had to drop somebody off, so I didn't see any horrible traffic, and it's usually not at this time of night. Once you start getting around 9 p.m. Eastern, everything's pretty close to being clear. You do have things like construction. We can see pylons and stuff around, and the occasional accident or whatever. We don't wish that on anybody, but I didn't see anything on my way here that said we're going to slow down, so hopefully it'll be a nice smooth ride right to Niagara Falls at a decent speed. And where I was actually just leaving the west end of Toronto. So we're already out of Toronto into the next city. And from here all the way to a city you might have heard of called Hamilton, they you can't see any break or space in between the cities. Like, they just blend into each other. It's not like all the buildings and houses and apartments and condos and all that stuff. It doesn't stop. There's no farms in the middle. There's farms to the north of us, but we're down very close to the water, actually, fairly close. All these cities are just lined up along the water, and most of the bigger Canadian cities are close to the border. Mississauga, exactly. So thank you again. I'm having a lot of trouble reading names in the chat, especially because we've switched to handles now. But thank you everybody for being here. Now we might start moving a bit too. I figure we'll try some vertical live streams too. Oh, I gotta get gas. Oh, that's a headache. I wasn't watching. I won't make it all the way back. I'm gonna have to stop at some point. I won't stop the stream for that. I'll try to. I think I know where I can go, but I'll try to find. There's a million gas stations between here and there, but I'm gonna have to take a moment to do that. I got the warning for like 80 kilometers, but it's not enough to get where we need. Even though I put a thumbnail on this video, I'm not driving my truck right now. I usually do. So the tanks on these things are, I'm driving a work van, and these things are much smaller, half the size, I think. Maybe I'll just go right here. I always use Shell, get my air miles. One of the perks with the gig that I have is I go through about $200 a week worth of gas on a work account, and then we get all the air miles for that. I'm gonna go the wrong way and everything else here. Not using GPS right now, so I'm guessing. I'm not gonna use the GPS. I'm not gonna find it. Their second one over here. Driving on a median there. These speed bumps are becoming, or speed humps are becoming much more popular, I think, in a lot of areas. We'll be at a gas station as quick in another moment. I'll be as quick as I can. Thanks, everyone. Oh, forgive me, everyone. I usually don't do that. I think it's the first time I've done that. We'll get moving in another second here. Curtains, yeah, they kind of are all over the place, it seems. At least in the Toronto, Niagara area and everything. Oh, New Horizons Above and Beyond. Forgive me, I couldn't read your name until I'm just taking a second to catch up with the chat here. But thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. All right, let's get moving. I would have been so excited to know that eventually we'd be able to buy like beer, liquor, and all that stuff in gas stations. And we can now. It just came out like over the last not too long, but I don't care anymore. It's not, I don't need it. I mean, maybe there'll be a day for somebody else or something. I really don't drink very much. But I went into the gas station. There was somebody there just like buying uh, at the cashier for a second there. I don't think I can go through here, right? I use my thing again. We'll be back on the highway in a second and get rolling. Oh, but thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. Yeah, so just under an hour from now, we'll be in Niagara Falls, and I'll finish off by driving through the Winter Festival of Lights. I've always loved driving. That's why I end up doing so much. I like volunteer to do it and stuff, you know. Yeah, I agree. I think I always compare Tim Hortons more to Dunkin' Donuts and everything because Starbucks is all over the world, uh, and I know there's other places that are popular, but yeah, it's weird. Tim Hortons was able to make their name just off of the name, the old hockey player, which I don't know anything about. It's not. I don't want to pretend I know anything about Tim Horton. I don't. But as far as I understand, was a legendary hockey player. But they've used the name now to build this huge chain that's now, I guess, becoming worldwide. But they saw a little bit of merchandise and stuff, but typically like coffee and donuts and everything, and they just killed it. It felt like they came out of nowhere and just took over. We've had other donut shops and things like that, but that's basically the way we used to describe them, is a coffee shop or a donut shop. And you just go to whichever one is closest to you. There was a couple chains and franchises like Coffee Time. We have one, and there's a few other. Second Cup is another one that's fairly popular. It's a little bit different. It's almost like Starbucks, but Tim Hortons they killed it. I think the food was what did it for them, because people can use it as an alternative to McDonald's, and they're like even faster. They have alarms that go off if you don't get your food within like 20 or 30 seconds from ordering it in the drive-thru. It's unbelievable, the volume they go through, and everyone seems to be packed all the time. I talk about that when I think about people working. If you need a job, like if you're lucky enough to be able to work and you need a job, hopefully you're not in a position where you need to go and just take whatever comes up. But when you do, that's fine. If you have the option to pick, because when I was much younger, it was very easy to get a job. I get different jobs all the time. I'd be like bored on Saturday and say, I'm going to go work at Wendy's, or wherever. And I did. I worked at Wendy's for half a shift. But if you decide you're going to go and do those kinds of jobs, right? You can pick Burger King or Wendy's where you don't really work that hard, in my opinion. Not that I've worked there. Like I worked at Wendy's for one day. It was raining and I told them to get lost. But when you choose to work at McDonald's or you choose to work at Tim Hortons, you know what you're signing up for. You are on your feet for your full shift. You are working the whole time with no break, no hang out and talk for 30 seconds and a minute at a time. Like there just doesn't seem to be any of that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. I'm glad people do it. But you know what you're signing up for when you, if you're able to choose that kind of thing. I was off for a while, very unexpected. I didn't think there'd be a chance in my life that I would ever be out of work. I was unemployed for one day in my adult life, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, became out of work last winter. And it went on for 5 months, and it started to get a little bit scary. Like, wait, this is very... I didn't apply for 1,000 jobs or anything like that, but I did apply for 100. I only got one interview out of the whole thing, and it turned out to be a friend of a friend that ended up getting me a gig, which I have now, which is okay. But it's something else. But if you're lucky enough to be able to choose, I understand why people might choose to be busy and work hard and stuff like that. I tend to not do that, but then just do more than expected when I get there. In a lot of cases, not all. Now we're moving. Canadian Family Life, good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. She just did a video. She just put a video out a couple hours ago. It's funny, you guys are probably laughing because I went into, just did I go into, was it Canadian Family Life? And because it was posted in the group, so I went to go in there, but I was on a personal account. I was actually at my computer, but I just raced to get on. And then, because I came to Toronto, went back to Niagara Falls, was home for a few hours. We did a family dinner we went out for. And then I went back to Toronto just to bring somebody back, and then I'm back on my way to Niagara. But I forgot that I have like memberships on all my Tuber Chat moderators channels. So Canadian Family Life, I went to go and use the emojis, and I was like, oh, I can't. So I had to like copy and move over to the other browser. I use, pardon me, I switch browsers all the time. But Canadian Family Life has another new video. And it's so funny to me because when I see the title of it, I think she does it every year, but she does the title like, so it's November right now. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you that. But the title of her video is like what I got the family for Christmas or what I got the kids for Christmas. And I'm like, how can you make that video? You got to tell them and everybody they know not to watch it. But it's just the title that makes it seem that way. I wasn't going to go to Toronto and back today. My son still lives in Toronto. So I had to drop him off. I was going to have him stay over and just bring him home at ridiculous o'clock in the morning. And I had my day set up that I could go and work very close to where he lives. So start the day that way. But my day changed. I'm actually going out towards Jason's area. But for tomorrow, because it was a not quite last minute, but last minute change up, I don't have time to hang out, but I'm hoping I'm going to go back to Jason's area in a couple of weeks and then meet up with him. I'll see how he feels about streaming. If we can, we'll do one of those, probably go out and eat stream, but it's nice to have real life meetups. I've met up with Jason a few times already. And I'm having the hardest time reading the chat again. It's not just the handles, but I don't have glasses on me. I should have brought them, but I didn't think of it. I don't require them for driving, so I don't remember to bring them all the time. I just wish I had them, but I'm starting to get to that point where text on a lot of things, especially credit cards and menus and stuff, are not as easy to see. I need them all the time now. So we're now just entering a city called Burlington. We just passed a city called Oakville that was on right after Mississauga. But you see how these cities, like, there's no break in between them. You can't tell that you're going from one to the other. Sometimes it's even confusing when I'm describing to people where things are. I'm like, oh yeah, it's up the street in Rexdale where I grew up. Well, actually, it's on the other side of the highway on the border of Mississauga. Right? And things like that. I talk about that kind of thing often. Whereas down where I live now, closer to Niagara, the cities are spread out like you would expect. More like what I'm used to in the United States, where you got 15 minutes or half an hour between cities. I feel like there's a smudge right on the windshield, right where we need it to not be. If I can do anything that's not, it's on the outside. I try to wash the window. I didn't mean to flash my lights at that guy. I drive two different vehicles and all the stuff's not in the same area. I'll ruin the view completely for a second and then hopefully it'll clear up a bit. I don't know if that's going to make it any better. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. It makes the drive feel a lot quicker. The Burlington Skyway is the biggest bridge I've got to cross. But once you get across that bridge, it feels like halfway. Oh, there's Jason right there. Is it Jason? Yeah, there's Jason. I was just saying that, yeah, I got to go to your area tomorrow, but I have to head right out of there. My third job is another hour away or something like that. But 2 weeks from now, I'm hoping that I'll be back there, and then maybe I can plan the day so that we can meet up again. And maybe even do a stream. We'll go to Chuck's or something and just stream from there, hanging out like this. But we'll see. Jason's always a pleasure. I've been intending on trying go live together too, just for the sake of doing it. So we should probably plan one of those with notice. Jason might join me for one of those. I would love to do panels too. I don't know how to find the time for all this stuff, but I would love to do panels where, like, kind of, we could just hang out and talk once in a while. I think go live together would be cool for a stream like this, because while we're just looking at the dash cam footage, you'd have somebody else to conversate with and narrate and, you know, change it up a little bit. Of course, I'm going to tell the same stories all the time and talk about a lot of the same things. Jason's familiar with disk drive, I'm sure. My bet is he's been around here 100 times. There was a story a while back, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but one of the truck drivers driving a dump truck, like one of those huge ones, was driving and had his bucket up and smashed into the one of the signs or something on the way over the bridge. Oh gosh, I don't wish for anybody to have to go through that. That's newsworthy and shuts down probably 2 cities for a good number of hours. It's really windy today. I feel like I hear rain, but I don't know if that's right. It doesn't seem to be on the windshield. just windy. I don't know if you can hear that. I noticed when I watched back just a minute of the stream from earlier today too, that the audio seemed to be almost like crackling, almost like the mic is too loud. But one of the things I've always known about Android versus iPhone is Android, the sound is like 3 times the volume of iPhone when we try to film. I usually don't even have to adjust the audio if I film with an Android phone, whereas with iPhone, I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I film with an Android phone, I don't have to adjust the volume, but with an iPhone, then I do much more. You see the size of this bridge. Ships go under here, like those container ships go under this bridge. Sometimes you see them out in Lake Ontario or out in what must be called a harbor over here. I didn't have my lights on this whole time either. I just put them on. Thank goodness these vehicles all have running lights now, like for what, 20 years or something? I'm old enough to remember a day where they didn't. So if you're driving with your lights off, they're like actually off. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't wish for that. I learned a bad mistake when I started this job because I have to do this drive almost, I would bet 4 days out of 5. I'm in either the Toronto area or at least up towards that way. And one of the first times I was out on my own, I ended up going. You can go under those bridges. I don't know if it's like this everywhere in the world, like in the States and stuff, where all the bridges have a way to drive underneath that just either opens up or whatever. But I made the mistake of trying to go under because the GPS said it would be faster. And I don't have them set. I should look and see if they could do it or not. But I use Google Maps because the company uses Google Maps, and it keeps a timeline for you. So everywhere you've been, stop after stop, because we have to mark our kilometers all the time for service calls and everything. So I keep the GPS on. GPS said go under the bridge, so I went under, and sure enough, it was like seconds before a ship was about to go through, and then you're stuck there for what felt like 20 minutes. So I don't do that anymore. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me how bad the traffic is on the bridge. I'm taking the bridge every time. Who's joining us now? Is that Rushing One Mountain? Yeah. Ruby, thank you. Good to see you here. I'm having a really hard time reading the chat. Never mind the handles, but I don't have glasses with me today. I don't know if yet also if Apple does the thing, because I haven't tried on iPhone, to do the thing where, let's say you want to screencast, because YouTube has an option of screencasting, right? So instead of filming with the camera, if you're playing a game, would be the best example of it. Although you could if you wanted to, put a camera app on and then just stream from the camera app. I don't know why anybody would ever do that, but you could. But I have these crypto apps, like a drive to earn thing. I don't know if it's worth it or anything, but it has to do with the phone that I usually use. But I tried one of those where the app has its dash cam footage, and then so you just stream either the app or the whole screen, and it sits on top, like YouTube sits on top of the other app, sort of, if that makes any sense at all the way I'm saying it. But I don't know if you can do that with iPhone because I haven't tried. But I keep wanting to try like all these features now because I'm trying to get my head back into, like, we got to make videos, we got to know how all this stuff works all the time. Oh, I haven't heard of that, Jason. That's great to know. Well, one of the things I like most in life is going out to eat. And yeah, I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. There'd be a restaurant. I wonder if there's one down near Niagara, like in St. Catharines, where that other bridge is, um, by the Welland Canal or whatever it's called, where you could do that kind of thing. Kristen and I celebrated 10 years together the other day, so we went to this restaurant called, I think it's called Lake House, and it's on Lake Ontario, like right on the water. And it's down there, like close to St. Catharines, which is the next city over from Niagara Falls, let's say, on the way to Toronto. But this restaurant is, they did a great job. It's exactly what it should be. Um, but I love going out to eat. But we often go and like try out restaurants that are independent. Let's just say I have the best experiences at independent restaurants in that area. It's not just about supporting like the local businesses. I like that idea, but I feel like independent restaurants live on their reputation. You have no choice but to be good when you're fighting against the Keg and Milestones and Jack Astor's and every other place we have. Basically, you have to be chosen. What's this guy doing his hazards for? Cops or something? I never tailgate, so it's not for me. I often do that if somebody's like riding too close behind me. I can't stand it. Um, I wish I wouldn't turn into an animal like as soon as I get into a car. But boy, does road rage ever seem to get to everybody. And when somebody's like riding right behind you, I just put the hazards on to like tell them like just back off, and then they either do or they like come flying beside you. But I don't like to speed. I'm not going to do the weaving in and out of traffic and all that stuff. Even now, I got a guy pretty close. I just let him go, right? But I always wondered about that. I had a friend who did it when I was young, like when I was, I don't know, 16. I had a best friend in high school, and then he had an older brother. So we were all hanging out all the time, and the older brother, 19 years old, so he was working full time, had a car, money, and all this. And so, he would drive all the time, but he would drive like right up on people, when he wanted them to move over. And I'm like, I don't understand. And he'd do what everybody does. Like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Okay, but if he's a bad driver, if they are a bad driver, then why would you want to be close to them? You know? Silliness. Oh, Dave's Adventures. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. I know it's late for you. Must be 3 in the morning, I think, right? Forgive me for anybody I've missed in the chat. I'm having a really hard time reading the chat, but I'm sure everybody understands that, considering what we're doing right now. But I do appreciate everybody hanging out. I wanted to do these streams because I want to keep the channel active. I do have intentions of some content soon, but you know as well as I do, not going to get any views if the channel's not at least active. So the occasional stream will help that. I like those Honda Civics. When they changed the design to that, I think they look like little TIE fighters scooting around. Driving daily, good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Forgive me again, I can't read the chat very well, but I do appreciate everybody hanging out. Especially, it makes the drive go so quickly for me. An hour-long drive doesn't feel like an hour. I don't know where we're at for time. I'll look right now. So, shouldn't be much more than 20 minutes that we're at the Festival of Lights. So we'll see how that looks now. They did the grand reveal apparently on Saturday. It was right after the Santa Claus parade. I wasn't watching. I should have got out and streamed that. We used to be in it sometimes. Kristen's full-time gig is running a nonprofit agency, and we've often been in the Santa Claus parade. And you can basically go in, I think, any time, but you just got to decide you want to do it. Then if you got volunteers around you and stuff. But we used to like put all kinds of purple decorations all over the truck, and then we'd have people sitting in the back and stuff. But it's kind of cool to be in the parade. Let's say, just driving the truck, but you know what I mean. Wonder how many years it will take for all this to get filled up, the way that the rest of the drive towards Toronto is, where it's all big city stuff. Where out here you got vineyards and farms and everything in between the smaller. There's still cities, not quite towns or anything like that, but I wonder if it'll be 20 years or longer over here. Most of what's there to the left of me, that's where the water is. We're right beside Lake Ontario. So to the left of me, there's a lot of development happening right now. You'll see very soon a lot has already happened. Those views over the lake, though, are something else. Stand there staring out the window, counting the boats and stuff. We're lucky to have a lot of water in Ontario. Lots of lakes and beaches and stuff. Nothing like what you'd see in Florida or California or anything, but they're there. This is that restaurant I was talking about. You see these lights on the left-hand side here? Called Lake House. That's the restaurant Kristen and I went to the other day. We're on to another TV show now. We usually watch an episode of TV to fall asleep to. And other than that, I don't watch like any TV at all, really. But we can just keep going back to the same stuff. We just reran the entire Billion series. Because you imagine like an episode every day, you're going to get through it in a few weeks. And Now they came out with another season of Mayor of Kingstown. I don't know the truth about it, but my understanding is that it is based on a city that's only a few hours away from Toronto, a couple hours away, called Kingston. And they have, it's just about jail and prison and all this or whatever, right? And it's that guy, I think his name is Jeremy Rayner, if I'm pronouncing that right. He's in like some of the Marvel movies and stuff like that now, but that guy's had quite a run. Um, Good to see him having his own TV show now. I liked him from, there was a movie called The Town that I like, and it basically feels like a remake of the movie Heat for anybody who had seen that, and that's not bank robberies, but armored trucks, basically. And I always like crime stuff and everything. But we're watching this Mayor of Kingstown now, and apparently it might be based on that city, Kingston. They did a lot of filming around here. Hamilton, which is a city we just went through, that's on the other side of that large bridge. And then a lot of filming. I was working in film right before I started YouTube. I did about 3 years, 2.5 for film. I did a small amount of PA work, production assistant, and the rest was location support, which is another whole thing. But that was cool. We'll be at the Festival of Lights in another, I'm guessing 10 minutes, 15 at the most. Is that Margaret Seeger? Thank you for coming in. Having trouble reading the chat. I don't have glasses on me tonight. I just forgot to bring them. I don't require them for driving or anything, but I can't see as well if I'm at night or in the dark without them. But thank you for coming back in. Ontario Street here in this city called St. Catharines is the last city before Niagara Falls on this highway. The Ontario Street is almost like what you might consider a gasoline alley. In Ontario, there's another place. Jason might know better than me. Even Pete might know better than me where Gasoline Alley is. I forget. It's out in, I think, Cottage Country or on the way there. But down here, Ontario Street is known. Every company has a gas station on that street. So if you're able to, you can plan and say, I'm going to plan to get gas there. And it's usually anywhere from 5 cents cheaper, maybe even more from most of the gas stations. And even though Niagara is already cheaper than Toronto, it could be up to like 10 cents a liter. And I forget if it's like 4 liters to a gallon or something like that. I could be very wrong about that. I don't remember the calculation, or 3 liters and something. Our gas is somewhere between $1.20 or $1.30 a liter. And I think our American friends are paying $4 a gallon right now or something, thereabouts. I should learn these calculations better once and for all. I think I got the temperature down where it's you double it and add 32. I talk about that all the time. It's 3 degrees right now here. It's under 40, my goodness. Felt really cold. It's windy like crazy out there tonight. then this is the bridge that goes over the waterway that basically separates this city from Niagara Falls. Got to take it easy going over these bridges. I always have the cruise control on anyway, but you got to be careful because there is often police at the bottoms of these hills. They're just waiting for people to fly over. And this is an outlet mall. It's a really weird shopping center. So I've done at least one stream, I think, here, where I don't know if I could describe this properly. When you're in a shopping mall and you walk down any corridor or hallway, you're going to find stores on both sides, left and right. This is the same thing, but it's all outdoor. So they've set it up. They've got like canopies over the top, or they're not canopies, they're like structures, but it's not an indoor building. Each of the stores is indoor, but you're outside all of the time. It's really unique. I don't know if I've seen anything like that anywhere else. But they got all the big box stores there, and there's all kinds of clothes and I don't know, bath and beauty stuff, and the chocolate store, and of course there's a Tim Hortons there. Am I reading that right, Julio? Forgive me if I'm getting the name wrong. I'm having trouble reading the chat, obviously, while I'm driving or whatever. But thanks for coming in. We're going to be very soon at the highway that goes into where the Festival of Lights is going to start. It's a really elaborate Christmas display. It's really something to see. I've filmed it many times, but I try to do it at least once a year. And I'll try to get out and do a specific video or stream of the Festival of Lights when the snow falls, so that everything looks as wintry and Christmassy as it's supposed to. But it's always nice to see. I never get tired of Niagara Falls. Now that it's nighttime, we'll see the lights on the falls just barely like a little bit. See how spectacular that is. Like I said, I've filmed it many times. There's tons of live streams on the channel and a few videos. Yeah, I already stopped actually, Margaret Seeger. I forgot to get gas before we started because I went today. I had to go from Niagara to Toronto, so it's about an hour and 20 minutes or something, an hour and a half almost. But I had to go to Toronto and back to Niagara, and then back to Toronto, and now I'm going back to Niagara again. But I forgot to get gas, and the vehicle that I'm driving is not my truck, so the tank, I wouldn't have thought I gotta fill it or put some in. But there is actually a few minutes before we're going to get to that Winter Festival of Lights, just in case you happen to want to see it. Oh, I'm running out of battery. See if I can catch this before we have a disaster. The phone was shut off right at the perfect time. I can plug in pretty easily, I think. Maybe. Oh, I got the wrong cord. iPhone, that's why. Once I switch phones, I'll be able to use, obviously, the USB for both phones, but I'm still using iPhone here. Hopefully our thing's not going to cut out on us. Jesse, Journals and Unboxes, good to see you here. Thank you for coming in. Well, I'm praying that Super Chat doesn't turn into handles in the chat. I didn't even remember if this channel, if earlier today in the stream, if we had handles or not. I feel like we didn't because I don't feel like I was struggling over the chat, but maybe it did. I don't know. But I believe that's something they're going to roll out to everyone eventually. It really is a good thing for most channels, right? Because you don't have to worry about like members of moderators anymore if somebody's name is misspelled. The only thing that like the really hardcore trolls could do if they like are fanatics and can't stop is they'll change their like small L for a number one or a capital I or something like that, or switch like do all capital letters and use a zero and all those tricks, but it's going to be so little, like, but you can't pretend to be somebody else anymore. You just can't do it with the way handles are. I hope someday they come out with an option for how we want to view it, but I don't know if they will. That's just a pipe dream. Can you imagine what it's like working at one of these companies like Instagram or TikTok or YouTube? Like, Instagram just changed their messaging too. That probably is driving everybody bonkers because you get muscle memory, right? You're used to hitting like all the buttons in the right places, and all of a sudden they move when you're like, clicking the wrong thing all the time. But imagine working there, the complaints you'd have to deal with every time they change something. Oh my dear goodness. That really tripped me up. I get stuck on Instagram now because I use that, like I'm sure everybody does, but Instagram seems to be the thing for messaging. I got a couple people that insist on using WhatsApp and a couple people that insist on using Telegram or whatever because I tend to sign up for everything, right? But Instagram is kind of where it's at for me, like for most messaging and even phone calls and stuff now. But boy, trying to like switch accounts or find where the messages are, these first world problems I seem to have. So we're going to be down at the falls in like seconds here. It'll be one more minute, and we'll start seeing those Christmas lights. pass right by the tourist area. It's really windy and cold, so I can't imagine a lot of people out today. Um, we'll see in a second, obviously, but Friday and Saturday nights, I'm sure, are still pretty busy around here. I'm going to turn here just so you can get an idea of these lights on the actual Niagara Falls in the background. As soon as I turn left here, we're going to be facing the American Falls. And I know the way I've got the vertical stream, like you're only going to see it for a second, but you'll get an idea of what they do. It's so elaborate down here. And they change some of it every year. Like there's always something new, or at least different. I'll try to take it easy so we can see the stuff a bit. Jason will be down here at some point to film this, I'm sure. Welcome to Niagara Parks, that said. It's so much nicer to see this when you're walking through. Jason's filmed this before. He did a good job. But you can already see what I'm talking about. The fact that this would take a couple of hours to really walk through and enjoy everything. And they've got some interactive features here too. They've got some things you can almost play with while you're walking by, and musical things. I'll try to get a good video of this. I did a preview the other day, and I think I just was driving for that too. I went through another area for that. Thanks for the hearts, by the way. I haven't done a ton of these vertical live streams yet. I'm probably going to. The problem is I know not everybody likes it. I know most of my friends that come to the live streams and things like that have YouTube channels, and we tend to dislike the vertical streams. But in the spirit of doing the best thing for the channel and trying to grow, then vertical is probably going to be more so where it's at, depending on what I'm doing. Try to get some of that shorts feed activity coming in at some point. can imagine how much work it is to maintain this and put this together every year. They've upgraded stuff too, right? So we get these lights that look like they've got movement. '99 Midnight Gamer YT, thanks for coming in. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. I don't mean to. I'm not doing a good job of reading the chat tonight while I'm driving. But I do appreciate everybody being here, and especially everybody's patience when I'm not watching the chat like that. There's the thing. Here it is. Yeah. This is a special area called Dufferin Islands. They put a lot of focus on this for the Christmas lights, as you can see. Looks even more spectacular when the snow has fallen, of course, because it's all white, right? So the light reflects off it, sort of. I don't think that was there last year. This year, the lights. Oh, that's cool. Oh, and this. I don't remember seeing that last year either. See what I mean? They keep adding stuff. That's really cool. That's like nightclub style. That looks like Dragonfly nightclub in the casino here. There's much more here, but you only see a little bit because I got this like driving thing. If you're walking around, you can point the camera all over the place and catch all these different things that they have. But like I said, I'll try to do that as soon as the snow falls and we get some good weather, like where I can walk around without the phone freezing or getting covered in snow and everything. But what a nice thing, right? And people are coming through here all the time. When I get up for work, it might be 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, lights are still on. There's cars coming through. Just a few, but you know what I mean. On the busier nights, they'll have somebody waiting at the end, and you could drop them a few dollars or whatever, and then they got a sign that says thanks for your contribution. So thanks everybody for hanging out. I really do appreciate every moment everybody spends. I'll try to get out, like I said, at the latest when the snow falls and the weather's good. It shouldn't be too long. I don't wish for the snow, but at least for a stream, it'll be nice. We'll see. Shouldn't be too long. Sometimes it takes right up until Christmas to get decent snowfalls. We get smaller ones in between, but we'll see. But thank you again, everyone. I really do appreciate everybody hanging out. Makes the drive a lot more enjoyable for me, but hopefully you enjoyed the little preview again of the Festival of Lights there. And we'll see everybody again soon. Have a good week, everyone.